Up to date with best practice in order to remain competitive. At the Human Assets Expansion Summit currently taking place here in Dubai, experts are exchanging views on the current climate. With us this evening is Jane Rennie from Franklin Covey Middle East, and she joins us in the Emirates News studio. Thanks a lot for coming in.
You're welcome.
Now, what would you say, Jane, you know, the most pressing HR challenges facing the UAE and the wider Middle East at the moment?
I think typically the challenges that any HR faces in organisations is not necessarily limited to just our region, and I think they are predominantly the attraction and the retention of staff, and along with that becomes an issue of development. How do we actually get people to be really productive, extraordinarily productive, and indeed how do we actually just get people to do their jobs well? And I think they're really the three main challenges that we face.
Now, how is new technology like, social networking affecting HR directly?
Interestingly, this is really where the productivity paradox really comes in, because it's become actually both easier and a lot more difficult to be productive. On the one hand, there is such an enormous amount of IT and social media available. It's really about how do we harness that to use it as an accelerator rather than a decelerator. So in other words, how do we make sure that what we're using in the right way rather than allowing it to really divert our attention from the main causes.
Now, from your experience, are there some simple steps to improve productivity in today's workplace?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think first of all, in terms of productivity, what we have to recognise that there are three significant challenges, and they are decisions, attention and energy. We're being asked to make much more high value decisions nowadays. We're being paid to use our minds rather than our hands, and with that comes a degree of difficulty for a lot of people. Also, the IT that we've already spoken about very often detracts our attention from those main issues. And frankly, a lot of us struggle to get through the day without, 3 visits to our local coffee shop just to give us the right amount of energy to see it through to 5 o'clock in the evening.
Jane, should employees be seen as assets in today's business, do you think?
I think that's an age-old question. I mean, typically employees are seen as overheads or expenses, when the reality is they're the biggest assets that any organisation has. But I think unless organisations recognise that their employees need to be both willing and able to make a contribution, and that contribution is what releases potential. That potential then is it can be harnessed in so many ways, and that's what leads us to creativity and innovation in organisations. So absolutely, biggest asset that they have.
Jane Rennie from Franklin Covey Middle East. That's all we have time for. Thank you very much.
Thank you.